Thanks. Record that. Let's see here. Oh, we have you. You have another person, um, an avatar of you that's on as well. So there's two of you. One's a host and one's a participant. I'm just letting you
Right.
know there's two. One is
Yeah,
two icons of you. Okay.
I had to do that in order to go live on Facebook.
Ah, okay. Whoa. Well, it's interesting. I'm glad we can do this at 11:11 in a rainstorm. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Um, yeah. So let me channel something and let's begin. Um,
Let's just talk, and if hopefully
yeah,
people will join us.
yeah. Well, I have a funny feeling this recording will go out to many people. I just got this
Yeah.
strange feeling that the recording is also valuable, as well as the participants, of course. Right now, what we're going through right now, right after the eclipse, the ringing in our ears stopped. It decreased a lot right after the eclipse. I mean, you might have still had it, but the ringing kind of stopped. Um, the short-term memory losses began. The sort of, I'm in the middle of a sentence and I don't know what I'm talking about for half of a second type of wipe. At the same time, the solar flares came, and as the solar flares began to really pummel us with just extreme healing light, um, we were working on a level of fatigue. I've been instructing people the difference between an upload and a download.
Okay. Do you
Yes.
do you want to share that with us, or
Yeah.
for the people that you haven't told already?
Sure. Um, Uploads, we started to recognize. I started to recognize, and others started to recognize uploads around the beginning of the year. As the 2024 came, they got more and more stronger. So let me tell you what an upload, and it's usually in a collective. It's usually not just one of us. It's usually groups of us are going through this. So let me explain to you what a upload is. Well, let's explain to them what a download is, because maybe some people don't even know that, but let's give them
Yeah.
that. So as a download, it is basically you're downloading information. It's your knowing. It could be as a knowing. It could be guidance. But how you know you're having a download is you don't have that idea in your mind, and all of a sudden you get this very detailed message, visual message. It's usually not a dream. It's usually wake. You get a download, and it does leave you um, ungrounded a bit. It's refreshing, but it's a beautiful thing to have them. You don't have them constantly. They do generally can happen individually or the collective, but you can individually have a download where nobody else is having it but you. Uploads a little different. Uploads generally they are collective, meaning many people will be having these uploads, and basically what it is the information that you have learned is now uploaded to the cloud. And because it's uploaded to the cloud, the collective can experience it as well. So we are used as processing people where we process society collectively. And during this time after the eclipse, I had about 3 or 4 uploads. Now, uploads, first of all, you feel, I call it faded. You have this faded feeling like you're walking, but it's kind of like a dream state. It's not ungrounding where you're nervous. You literally, if you can imagine something pulling information up and the information is still attached to you and it fades you, you're almost in 2 dimensions. It's a safe feeling. It's nothing to be worried about. It comes once that process is done. Um, there's rest that's needed because now you have more capacity. It's like they uploaded it it's like you're a portable hard drive and they just took some of the information for the collective. And this is what wisdom is upon us for the fourth dimension because we're in the new age. So there are no books for this. This has to be a collective human experience globally. And the outcome of the direction of mankind um, is not, I wouldn't say it's solely steered by that, but it has a lot to do with where we're going as a collective because if there are a lot of us who have worked on ourselves and have got to a certain level, we carry a certain level of human experience, multiple human experiences, because we come into contact with so many different people that our foresight, our experience, and our wisdom is necessary for the masses of people to even understand what's happening. So we can't be duplicated into thousands of people, but they don't need to duplicate us. They need our emotional attachment to the information as well. They need our outcome of a lot of the work that we've done, and we've passed the test, and it's just sort of sitting in our mailbox, waiting to be delivered to whoever's going to need it. So we have a lot of that. We have many people who get those uploads, and now they have more capacity. And what's happening to a lot of us is that capacity is being filled by retreats now. Because we get that we have to do this on a broader scale. And we get that we have to, like I always like, it has to be more land and people around us for this. Can't be more people than land. Has to be more land than people. So the upload allows us to develop more capacity, also allows us to understand the information that we've already processed. It also allows us to breathe a bit. It's a new process, new to me. I've never experienced uploads before up until like 6 months ago. It does take you and kind of push you to another part of the world. It can, because you'll start to see other things where when you have an upload, the capacity is wider. So you see yourself more in the fourth dimension. You see the work that's done on a higher dimension that you also have access to do. You get to choose. You have more options. You get to choose higher information. Now, I would assume this is my first phase. So it has taken me out of the country twice. I travel now. There are times, Patricia, there's times we're sitting still, and there's times we're all over the globe,
Right.
and
at the same time. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So you know that. So we get kind of used to that. But right now, I think what I would like to tell people is this. Don't be afraid of the weather. Understand the weather more. Get into the vibration of these storms. Get into the trees. Get into your energy with weather. I don't want to tell people to run out into the rain and lightning and stuff like that, but run out into the rain and lightning if you can.
I do.
Yeah, me too. I love it. I love it. It soothes my soul. When you get completely drenched and wet from the rain, it quiets a lot. It cuts off a lot of that technology stuff that you have on you. You are more in tune with your breath. You're soaking wet, so your body is alive, it's drenched. And nature, it's one with nature because nature also is being drenched. So it's rain covered. There's so much that I could talk about rain and trees. I like to talk about not just rain. People talk about rain, but they don't talk about the trees and rain. And I think, excuse the pun, you see the forest, you miss the forest for the trees with that one. But that's what I mean, because the trees are a network that replenish the earth through the rain, replenishes it, cleanses it. And I have people now coming in for my weekend. I have a weekend retreat that I'm doing. It's a one-person weekend retreat, and people come and they spend 2 days with me on these weekend retreats. I started to do them maybe in the beginning of the year. I started to do where one person would spend a couple of hours with me, and I would not only heal, um, facilitate healing, but also teach it as a class. Because I believe that a lot of what we have to do, a lot of the fundamental parts of self healing can be done regularly if people knew how to do it. If they just knew how to maintain their peace of mind in their life. And so that takes a bit of time because people have to know their life. And so it takes about 2 days, and they've been very successful, very successful. I got
Now,
that from having an upload.
so can I ask you a question? Are you
Sure.
doing that one-on-one or are you doing it in groups? Because you've done it
No,
both ways.
yes, yep. And I've done it both ways, but for the last 6 months, I've had these sort of private one-on-one things,
Mhm.
and it came out of TikTok. It came solely out of TikTok. So I've got these private one-on-ones, and we kind of like to. I was the point in my career I was kind of liking the group thing because I get to rev up. But what I learned about myself was these are more intimate teachings. These people are chosen to come to me. So it's not, these are not, and they may not be necessarily spiritual, but they're ready to receive um, whatever they have to receive. But it allowed me to respect the process more because I like to share to people how I teach rather than saying, oh, I did this and I did that. No, I was getting into the process for years because I was trying to get through it. And now with this phase, I respect the process more. I respect it. I take my time a little bit more. I channel um, many beings that have never been to the planet, that are not human, that are
Right.
not human. Yeah.
So you're
And
working with star beings more now than you have? Because
uh,
you
well,
it
I've
used to
been
be
work.
very earth related for you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the whole part of this book that I'm writing, right? It's about
Right.
galactic earth beings, that
Right.
we are also star beings.
Right.
So you're beginning to meld the two. I like that. I like that.
Yep. 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 Thank you for wrapping that up, processing that for me. You're right. That's exactly what that is. And that's exactly why this podcast is so important because it is so in alignment with what's happening now with your galactic language, because that comes into it. Because um, um, I remember, I don't know where we were, and you looked at me and you said, well, it's two things you said to me. First thing you said, you asked me, did I drum? And I say, no, it puts me to sleep. And then you gave me a drum, and I've been drumming ever since.
Oh, I
The
know. It
second
was so funny. That was at the psychic event, Southern Fried
Mhm.
Psychics.
Right, right.
And you were like, "Oh, I don't work with the drum," and I brought handed you one, and you haven't put it down. I've
I
seen
haven't
all
put,
your videos with this drum
yeah, I haven't put it down. I
because the
carry it
drum
with
is
me.
not
And
only the heartbeat, the
yeah,
drum breaks up frequencies. So
yes,
it's a tool. It is a
yes,
necessary tool.
yes,
Yeah, I'm
yes.
so
Thank
glad you're
you. And I'm
using it.
so grateful for that because you're right. It is a tool. It is a beautiful tool. And oh my gosh, it was the second one you said to me. Um, oh, I lost my train of thought there. You said so it was. She said a couple of things to me this year that kind of came to pass. And I can't remember the second thing you said to me. You said something about. Oh, there you go. Actually, at the same event or similar. It was around the same time. Um, we were praying all together, sending out light, and I started to speak the light language, and then it kind of naturally flowed through me. It's
Uh-huh.
been kind of doing that, but it's when I'm around certain people, it
Right.
doesn't
It
turn on all the
activates.
time.
Yeah,
Right. It
exactly.
activates. It's not
Yeah.
just on like that. It activates, and there are certain people like yourself that can come around, and it slowly kind of comes out of me, but it's all almost, it sounds like a whisper to me from the inside. It's like I can hear myself saying it, but if I hear myself whisper, it's like a whisper
That
thing.
is when you know, well, you're a channel, right?
Yeah,
And when you're
yeah,
channeling, you hear yourself, right?
right,
And it's the
right.
same with light language. If you're channeling light language, it's like you're standing on the outside hearing yourself.
Yes,
You're
yes,
observing it. Right.
yes,
Exactly.
yes. That's exactly how it felt. And the activation, I guess I've been light language. It's going to be one of the most the it attaches itself to telepathy. It can be used in so many different ways, um,
Right.
from higher communication, uh, group meditation. I've seen it done in groups of people where everyone goes into this trance and everyone starts to speak this light language, and it vibrates through the plant life. Like
Right.
it's alive. But that's why it's a living language. So it's vibrating through the plant life and through the earth and the different frequencies. So yeah, I believe ascension and light language goes together. I
Exactly.
believe that. Hmm.
Because you can't access the language of light until you are at a particular frequency, right? And so once
Exactly.
you've raised your vibration to that particular frequency, you get plugged in.
Yes. Yes.
And the more
Exactly.
people who get plugged in, right, the more people that are streaming in these pure light codes, the
Mhm.
better off all of us are going to be, because
Yes.
it's not even when you are channeling light language for a particular person, it's still
Mhm.
broadcasting out. It's not
Yes.
just that one person that's receiving it, right? Like you
Yes.
said, it
Yes.
gets
Yes.
broadcast out to
Yes.
all the nations, the plant
Yes.
nation, the tree
Yes.
nation, the
Yes.
the bird
Yes.
nation, the
Yes.
everything. It gets
Yes.
broadcast out to
Yes.
everything.
Yes. It's a oneness light language. It's a oneness space, so that
Exactly.
everyone gets it. And then it's interesting, and I want to ask you this question because this is very interesting. After and you are bringing in the light codes and you're bringing in the activation for us through the divine that's with you, and you're allowing processing. You're talking through it. That's what you're talking us through it. Uh, I would like to ask you that after you have done light language at this point, where are you? Where are you?
Now, that's a hard question to answer, because um, some of us will describe ourselves as being spacey, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
people will tell us, ground yourself. And I'm like, F you. I like being
Right.
in the ethers.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, so whenever we're multidimensional beings, all of us, not just me. We are all multidimensional beings. We're all living multiple experiences at the same time, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And and so every once in a while we click into these other experiences that we're having.
Hmm.
And sometimes they click in to us,
Ah. Hmm.
right? They
Hmm.
click into us and they bring us knowledge and information.
Yes.
And the beings are telling me that. I did not know that before I just opened my mouth and shared it, right? And
Hmm.
so it's an important point, though, that they're making, that sometimes when we are channeling new information, it may be coming from one of our other selves who is of a higher vibration,
Yes.
living a higher purpose,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Maybe that's
Yes.
where the channeling is coming from. That's important. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You just got that, huh? Yeah. It just came down. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I I I, I believe that so much because it could, sometimes spirit will give you, Patricia, a word that is confirming on multiple dimensions.
Right. Right.
Um, I have often felt my higher self, the activity of my higher self, separate
Hmm.
from me.
Right.
I've also merged, not for a long time, but merged minds with my higher self. My mind merged with its mind, and I saw more. It loved
Right.
me enough to not keep me there, but I saw more of who I am and what I'm supposed to do if I choose to. My higher self in me, my higher self teaches me choices because of the enslavement of multiple and the restriction. So it comes to me with like you can do this, you're gonna do this job, but here are the couple of ways that you can because you lived a couple of lifetimes. So some of this you can instead of going left, you can go slightly right and do left. Let me a case in point. Instead of putting water on everyone, you create a pool of water and they all get in. Simple things like make another choice on how to do it. And I think one of my lessons that I'm sharing with a lot of the light workers is like, listen, we're on the crest of something, and we can't lose our happiness. We cannot
That's
use
very
lose our
important.
happiness. Right,
Yeah.
right. Cannot
Openness,
lose our happiness.
trust, happiness.
Hmm.
Those are the keys because when you delve down into depression or anger or resentment, you're dipping your frequencies, right?
Yep, yep,
And you
yep.
can't access that knowledge and information if you are dipping down into the lower frequencies. So I
Right.
wanted to ask you a question real quick.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of people in the community, even people who are psychic, readers, psychic mediums. I've heard them say, "Oh, I can't channel for myself." And I call bullshit on that one, right? And you
Hmm.
just proved the point. You said sometimes you will connect into your higher self and you will
Hmm.
meld that information and get information for yourself. That's channeling for yourself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I had a question with I had a conversation with someone yesterday who we kind of touched on that. And I told her, yes, sometimes I will ask to channel for myself and I won't get a connection. I'm not
Hmm.
sure why. I'm not sure why I don't get a connection, but a lot of times I will get a connection. And I because we tend to question ourselves, I set a rule, and I set rules all the time because I'm an Aries, right? So I set rules all the time. And one of the rules was so that I would know it's not coming from my everyday egoic self, that
Hmm.
I need them to throw in a word sometimes that I'm not familiar with, right?
Hmm.
And they have
Hmm.
a lot of fun doing that because I
Hmm.
will be on a stream of conversation channeling and I'll get this word and I'll go, what the hell is
Right.
what's that word?
I like
Oh yeah,
right,
I did tell you to throw in a word.
right,
You
right.
know.
And you're like,
So do you have
wow.
advice for someone on how to connect in to their own intuitive knowing? I know you
Well,
do, but I'm wanting you to share it.
yeah. Well, yeah, I do, and I'm glad you brought this up because I think I did a video or it was in a live, and so let me clarify it. I think how I see it is frequencies. If you're a psychic and you're in the psychic realm and you're asking to a message for yourself, I think that would be a little difficult. And if you are an intuitive and you're asking a message for yourself, it's all about placement. Now, if you are a medium and you're asking about yourself, it's all about timing. Because as you climb, yourself is attached to a mission. So we're not really asking for ourselves. So we have to know ourselves to ask for ourselves. Like we're asking for light, but the light that we're asking for is attached to the mission. So it's not really your light. Now, how I get messages and channel, there are certain um, there are certain things I've learned not to ask because I'm not going to get an answer.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
I'm just not going
Yeah.
to get an answer for that. That's not going to happen. There
Yeah.
are
They
other
won't give us
things,
the test answer. No, they won't give
right?
us that. Right.
No, no, no. And we've just known from asking it for a gazillion times. There are other things that I ask, like you say, and I'll say, like you said, a word. Um, I will say, like, place me in a place that I know it's you. Place me in a place that I know it's you. And when they do that, I'm sitting in a place that it's so unfamiliar, but I know it's them. I'm saying, oh,
Right.
okay, so I have to come here, and I get it. The way that they are going to deliver messages to us for channeling for our personal life or personal purpose um, is an interactive. We're not
Back.
asking. We're doing this with them. Like,
Right.
you know
So,
me.
yeah. So you can critique this. I mean,
Hmm.
so when I do it, I actually record it because I'm not going to remember what they said. Right. I
Okay.
mean, I hear it consciously, but when I reflect on it later, like a dream, I'm not going to remember what they said. And so I record it first off, and then I
Hmm.
will ask a question, and then I will say, I'm listening. For me, that's the
Ah,
cue. For
yeah,
me, that's
yeah,
the cue. I will
yeah,
say, I'm listening,
yeah,
and then I
yeah,
will speak, whatever it is that I'm receiving on the
yeah,
recorder. But
yeah,
so critique that one. I
yeah.
mean, you want to
Well,
add to
that's
it or,
position. No, that's position. That's
okay,
what I mean. You got
okay,
into position, and there
okay,
are certain channels. The medium, the person, has to be in that position in order because, and you make that position. But you have to be aware enough to know that that even is an option for you.
okay.
So the fact that you are aware that that's an option means that you're connected and it's coming through anyway now. Um, for the younger people, starting out as psychics, I often tell people, and you know who told me this? I don't know if you remember. It was one of my mentors. Her name was Leona, and she was about 85 years old.
I
And
remember you telling me about her.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. She's the
she,
first one that shared the water blessings. Is that
yes, yes,
okay? Yeah.
exactly. That's exactly. Um, he um he would sit me down at the fair. She was kind of like I sat next to her, and she kind of, and what I loved about it is that I loved the hands-on training I got. It wasn't because she threw me in there, and she's like, Lawrence, you take a breath in your reading 3 minutes before the 15 because you got about 60 people behind you. So she was also, and while doing her famous thing. So one thing she said to me, he said, never go to a, because we were in the fair, and he says, never go to a psychic that says they can see for themselves. And it took me
I'm
years.
sorry. I can.
Yeah, it took me years that she's saying, she wasn't telling me that they can't. She was telling me that they're saying it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Right. And then it took me years for her to say, oh, it wasn't that you can't. Because she understood that if you say that, then I got the energy like, oh, if you say that you can see for yourself, then you're not separate from your gift and it's not authentic. I went into her energy. She was kind of letting me know, not you. We're in the psychic realm. You're in the medium realm. So it's a different position. We're taking into account those when you first start out. I guess she was kind of telling me as I go around, there's an ego thing going on. I guess that she was trying to tell
And
me
it's
that.
11:44. So there's that.
Right.
Yeah.
There she
Right.
is. Right. There it is. That's it. That's it. Because that is the angelic realm. So yes, but with you, I wouldn't put you in a group with others like that. I wouldn't do that. That's not. You have so many different aspects of yourself that it's not an average energetic connection that you have. So yes, you could channel for yourself. That's because of the because of the many selves you are. and the many dimensions, but not everyone has that. Not everyone. So
Okay, but there's a but. And you
mhm.
know, I know you don't mind me going, but wait, there's
No,
more.
no, 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 no.
So
I want you to.
so they want to point this out, right?
Hmm.
Leona was
Hmm.
in her 80s when she was
Yes,
sharing that with, okay.
yes, yes.
Dolores Cannon
Uh-huh.
was in, I don't know, late 70s, 80s when
Hmm.
she was sharing about QHHT.
Yes,
The thing, brother, is that our frequencies have changed.
yes, yes,
Frequencies of the collective has changed. And
yes,
so what limitations we had in 1950 or
yes,
1980 or the year 2000,
yes,
we don't have those limitations anymore.
yes, yes. You're right. You're right. We don't have those limitations. And I think there's two things here. I think the face value, yes. But I also think she was teaching me how to teach other mediums,
Right.
because
Yeah,
there is a way to approach self channeling. There is a sacred part to approach,
exactly.
because
Yeah.
you will pull down a message that's not even for you, because you're in some other entity will give you a message, and it may not be for you,
Right.
but you didn't. So I understand that, and I understand what you're saying completely. I'm just like, um, too much is given, much is required. I guess that's what I'm saying. Too
There's
much
a
is you
trade.
can.
Yeah, there's a trade.
Right, right. Too much is given, much is required. Hmm.
And I love what you're offering to the community as a whole because you are offering that sacredness, right? I've seen
Yes,
you do it. You're reminding people about the sacredness of what they're doing, not just willy nilly, okay, I read this in the book and I'm going to go do this now. You, in particular, I've
yeah,
witnessed are reminding people about the sacredness and about the trade-off, about the
yes,
exchange. And more people need to know that part of
yes,
it. And that was
yes.
one of the reasons why I wanted you to come share,
Well, I'm
because you
glad
are
you.
offering that where a lot of people are not offering it. I'm not offering it. I'm offering a different level to
Yes,
people, right?
yes, yes,
Uh,
yes,
and you are offering the how would you call it? The sacredness. There's another word, but you are offering that aspect of it, right?
hmm
The
yes,
connection, the
yes,
sacred connection.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I think it's so important. Part of my mission, the sacred connection, starts with the knowledge of self. The knowledge of self. The sacred connection starts with nature and the knowledge of self.
Mhm.
The sacred connection also, I do these things on these social media because I wear a couple of hats, and I speak to different populations of people. But on TikTok, since it's sort of a new platform to me, I know that I have to do a lot of heavy lifting and groundwork, and I like that too. I do. It's just great energy. And one of my missions is to say to people, um, which is interesting. I'm so glad I get to say this. I'm close to somebody here. There's one part of this. There are so many people who learned about spirituality in social media. There are millions of people who have never experienced being in a room with other spiritual people from different races and cultures in the room. And
Right.
they have spent years
Makes a
studying spiritual.
difference. Yes.
Right, makes a big difference. So I'm running into people who are healers, but have never physically been in a room with other healers.
Yeah. There's,
Years. And I,
I've seen that where they're stuck within their, you just say it out loud, race or culture, right?
right, exactly.
They have that mindset that they can only learn from someone of their own race or culture and even
Right,
gender,
right,
even
right.
gender.
Even gender. Yes, exactly.
So we
Yes.
have a question.
Okay.
When I'm not distracted, I'm watching Facebook for questions.
Oh, okay, cool.
So Debbie has a question. She said, I have the weirdest question. I was scanning my frequencies to get a position to channel, and I picked up a TV show. It was so weird, like a sitcom came in. I noted and dismissed it and moved forward. My question is, has this ever happened to you, or what was that?
Yeah. My guys and your guys might be a little funny too. There are times when we were young that we sat in front of the TV, and these sort of sitcoms that we watched repetitively, which we didn't think we recorded.
Right.
I would go back to the sitcom. I would recall it because the message that he wanted was in the sitcom.
Yeah.
And you know, we're programmed. We've been. I know with me and with you as well. We have just miles and miles of memory of sitcom rolling in the back of our head like that. We've been
Energetic
programmed.
imprints of sort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of sorts, just rolling in the back of our head, and they're not there just for anything. They also can be sort of put together for guidance. So yes, I do believe that that commercial, we call it's like a glitch. It's like because it'll show up so vivid, and the sound will be, and if you were a kid, you can almost see the TV, everything. It's a snapshot that people, the universe uses snapshots with me. Uh, okay, so I'm a little different because when I was a kid, I suffered with seizure disorder, so I couldn't watch any and everything because it would trigger a seizure in me. And it's weird because I would always, I can't explain it. It's more like there are certain sitcoms you can say one line in the opening and I'll sing the whole song. And I would not even remember that I knew the whole song. I'll sing the whole thing like that.
Yeah.
And there are certain lines that they just pop up in my mind. They just pop up in my mind. So I say that my guys use that for me. They literally use like certain things to tell me, yeah. Like I will talk to people, and in the beginning I would be reading, and I would hear a song, and I would tell them the song, and they'll be like, oh, "Wow, that's a song that's been in my head." I'm like, "We got to research that." I never allow people to confirm without action.
Right.
Don't just confirm to me you heard the song. I'm always like, research it, look it up. And they say,
What
what do
does
I
it
do?
mean for you? Yeah.
What does it mean for you? Let's get, because the energy, once you confirm it, don't let it cool off.
Right.
Because it's about the time that you got it.
Yeah. Sometimes I wake up with a song playing on repeat in my head. And I'm like, oh my God, get out of my head. And until I post it on Facebook, it hasn't happened in a long time, thank goodness. But until and the key was until I post it on Facebook and say, I don't know who this belongs to, but here it is.
Right.
It would repeat. And once I posted it on Facebook, it would go away.
Yes. See, those are the interesting and wonderful things that happen when you are in alignment, when you're in that position and you're staying in it for a certain amount of time, and they know that that's what you've chosen,
right,
and you're in that position. Those are the things that can happen and continually happen. Now, with people who are clairvoyant and clairdestined, people who have psychic abilities and all of that, and we all have it. We can go into that. We all have it. I would say to them, I would say on this podcast, take care of your mind. Don't just throw garbage into your mind and you're using it to help people. Don't mindlessly scroll, even watch. Be careful what you put into your mind these days. I've told my body people, like, hey, it's not the body right now. It's that mind, because that mind got you to the gym. The body didn't.
right.
So It's
So,
about cleansing of the mind. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so, speaking of programming, years ago, someone shared with me that years ago, our 10 yin, is that it? No, our around your
Kuan Yin,
navel area, your 10 yin.
yes, yes.
Okay. So they were telling me that, of course, that's how we're connected to our mother, right? And so they
Mm-hmm.
were telling me that, and I know that I do this. If I'm out in public, sometimes I will catch myself putting my hands here, right? I'm blocking incoming frequencies. This is how I protect myself, right? And so, but even before then, she was sharing that if you're watching a television show, if you just insist on watching horror shows, if you have to do it, right? Some people have to do it.
Yeah.
Turn to the side
Okay.
where you are not directly connected, where they don't have direct access to you. That's what she shared. But as you were talking, the being shared something new. Our
Mm-hmm.
irises are receivers, right?
Yeah,
Our
yes,
eyes are
yes,
receivers.
yes,
And
yes,
so
yes.
they're reminding me we need to be more proactive about what we're allowing ourselves to receive, right? So even
Yes.
watching those horror films doesn't matter
Yes.
if you turn backwards and watch them,
Right.
you know,
Right. You
you
still
are still receiving,
right.
right?
Right. But I like what you just said with the belly button. It sort of blew my mind because I find myself in the last 6 months talking to people and I have my hand over my belly button. And
Yeah,
it's like it's kind of freaky. I'm like, why am I doing that? Like why
right.
it's not
Because you
everyone.
are protecting your connection.
Right.
Yeah,
I get now that you said it, yeah, I get that it was times, yeah. That's something that's so thank you for sharing that with many of us so that we understand it now. Thank you.
yeah. And there are times after I learned that,
Hmm.
there were times when I was reading at the Dallas Psychic Fair,
Hmm.
I would tape selenite or black tourmaline or shungite on my navel. I would tape it on there.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I get, you know what? You are so right. You are so right. That's something I didn't, and it's true that level of sacral connection, your belly button in front of other people, connections like that. And oh, that's going to help a lot of people. That's going
So,
to help a
so
lot of people.
here's an important note on that. In the is it East Indian with a dot, right?
Right.
A lot of times the dancers, not Egyptian, East Indian, all of the sacred dancers
Mm.
would wear stones in their belly button. Do you
Right.
remember
Mm.
that?
Yep. 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 I definitely remember that. They would wear
Yeah.
jewels and stones.
And they
And
wore, and also mirrors on their dresses,
right.
the mirrors
Right.
to reflect.
Right.
I mean, the
Right.
knowledge has always been there. We just weren't
You're right.
listening. They were listening.
Yeah.
We weren't listening,
Yeah.
right?
Well, they were listening. We got the part that they need, and they have the part that we need, and that's why we can all come together and exchange because it makes total sense that if you had that many energetic eyes on you like that, yeah, and you want to protect your energy, yeah, why not put that into the culture? Why not put that into the dance? And so, yeah, that is a wonderful way of doing it. I've often said, because I know on Facebook here for years, people would say, and I don't know if I did this right or wrong. Spirit just told me not to do it. They said, don't take any pictures of yourself with glasses on, Lauren. Don't put on black glasses to reflect it out. Let them see your eyes. So for years, I had pictures of me with my face in this camera like that. And nothing occurred, but I realized that the power of light coming out of you activates the light in people. And I often say to people, I'm like, um, if you're going to do your marketing, let people see what they're working. People want to see the spirit in your eyes. They don't want to see you with glasses. I do a lot of working with young psychics who are coming out and stuff like that, and imaging and all that other things like that. And they have these things where they always wear dark glasses and they're talking to people and they're like, how come I'm not getting people resonating with me? I said, because they can't see your spirit. You're asking them to open up their most personal, to some of their most personal traumas, and they can't see your eyes. And it's something as simple as, as that. So yeah, there are different energies around covering up. And here's another thing also. If you go outside in nature, you don't have to work that.
You don't have to what?
If you're outside in nature enough, you don't have to clear that hard. It's not as, you don't have to clear as much. And if you meet people out in nature, their energy cannot attach to you like that in nature.
So I'm trying to get back to it, but I did something weird and funky, and now it won't let me get back to the questions. But somebody asked, I know I can try to get back this way. Somebody asked if someone is here it is. Lisa asked, so if someone is aggressive to you in front of you, turning to the side or covering your belly button, would that be beneficial? My answer is yes, but do you want to elaborate on that? If someone's being aggressive?
Yeah, well, if someone's being aggressive, yeah, get out of the way. I don't know, because I don't know. I would say, yeah, I would say if anyone's being aggressive to you, you don't need to stay in aggressive energy anyway. So but to me, it was more like you ever walk into a room and it's cool, everything's good with it, but for some reason it gets like one extra person in this room is going to be dirty. It feels like that to me. Like it's not that I'm repelling something. I didn't make that level of a contract to be connected to these type of people right now. And so that's what that is. But yeah, I'm not really sure if covering your belly button when someone's being aggressive to you, do what you can. I mean, cover.
Maybe not physically, verbally aggressive. No, but
yeah.
Covering the belly button is really more about your energy field, protecting
yes.
the energy field from intrusion, right?
Yes.
And it sometimes that is important because people will send hooks into you,
yes.
right?
Yes.
In an aggressive state. So,
yes.
You would want to protect your energy field from those psychic attacks, energetic attacks. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's the only, it wouldn't help you in a physically or emotionally aggressive state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It would have to be an energetic attachment or energetic discord, and you would just block it. Also, if you seem to, and I know if you've seen, if you leaving someone's place, if you feel like you've taken in too much of negative energy, on the way to your car, take your shoes off. Take your shoes off on the way to the car. You just take your shoes off, walk to the car, barefooted with your shoes on. Leave that energy there.
Right. Good.
Leave
That's
it right
a good
there.
one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a good
Leave
point.
the energy. Mm-hmm. Just take off whenever you're filled with something. Take off your shoes. Even if you're at a family event or some type of event, just go outside with your shoes off, walk around the house, and then come back in. Don't take in all of it at one time. So now you're overwhelmed and you're cursing people out, because you took in too much. So those are the good things that you can do. Flip flops are they can pull you right out of anxiety and depression when your feet are close to the earth like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's sister, we can go on for hours and days and years because it's so much information, living information that we
Right.
have to share with so many people. And I think so many people require, I know I'm on my TikTok channel and other channels here, I'm always saying to people, hey, I don't mind asking the spiritual questions because I love them too, but ask me the experience questions because I see where your wheels are spinning and you don't know. The spirit is not going to tell you how to live with spirit.
Right.
Humans have to tell you how to live with spirit.
So,
Because
so I,
go
I
ahead.
want to share with people, and I'll put links, or you can add a link on this Facebook, as a
Okay.
comment later.
Okay.
But I want to share with people that you go live often, right?
Yeah.
But especially on TikTok.
Yes.
And so if people want to learn, people want to follow you besides in person. But like if they're not local, they can go to your TikTok. You are always sharing
Yes. Yes.
tips, techniques, advice,
Yes.
channeling, downloads, uploads,
Yes.
whatever. And
Hmm.
so and I've learned, because I have TikTok, and because I follow you on TikTok, I'm always getting those,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
those streams of information. And also, before I forget, um, you very often take people on journeys, and I want you to remember to talk to us about your office on the lake. But you very often take people on journeys. So, do you have any of those planned?
Yes. I'm actually the next journey that we're going on is in Tulum, Mexico.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness,
yes.
really?
Yes. Yeah, we're going it's July 25th through the 29th.
Okay.
We only have one space available because we're pretty booked up. So, and I've been going back and forth studying with the shamans in Mexico. Recently, a couple of weeks ago, I did another journey. I was in South Carolina, and I went to Oyotunji Village in
Oh,
South
I've heard
Carolina.
about that.
Yes,
Amazing
yes,
place. Yeah.
amazing place. I used to live there 20 years ago. That's where I came from. I studied with the Gullah Geechee culture there, and so I came to Dallas. So I went home. I hadn't been home. I hadn't been back there in 20 years. The spirit literally said, "Go ahead and book a ticket, because guess what? You're
It's
going
on
back
my
home."
list. It is on
Yes,
my list to go there.
yes.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful experience. And then I went to Savannah. I go to places that um, keep the energy of the history still present in the culture. I'm an old soul. I like old things. I like to go to those. So I always tell people, go to Savannah. If you've been called to go to Savannah, go to Savannah. My next trip, between now and then, I have this strange feeling I'm going to Enchanted Rock, but it has not come down completely. Let me tell you what Enchanted Rock is for me, people. When you can go to my YouTube and any video, you'll see me standing on these mountains, these rose granite mountains for years. And it's called Enchanted Rock. It's another place. It's the Cherokee Trail. It's very sacred. It's another place that starts the journey for people. And how I take people up to the rock, up Enchanted Rock, it's all about giving up things. It's not about the climb. It's really about giving up things. It's really about teamwork. And let me tell you what's really amazing. We climb the mountain, and it's a walk up. You don't climb it, but it's a walk up. It's steep too. And in the center of it, there is a very sacred place. But to get to it, you'd have to climb under very like openings like this small. I can't tell you how proud I am of so many of my people who climb through this area and overcome their fear. It gets them more aware of their body and their balance, because sometimes you tell people balance, but they don't know how to balance. They don't know what it
Yeah.
feels like. They don't know what it feels like. So we we get them associated with, this is your balance, so nothing can throw you off. I can't knock you down. And that's what that's for. The Enchanted Rock, just stay posted. But yeah, that's so far. And also, I do my trips to Galveston, and that may happen. So I always tell people, because people ask me, when's your next retreat? When's your next thing? And I said, how spirit works with me is until it's time, you know, and I'll put it out there. But I can't plan in advance like that. I'm not the guy that I would need a team of people to do. My spirit is whoever's coming, I already know they're coming. You know, it's just me saying, let's do it. And they're like, Laura, it's okay. I got 7, 8, 9. Because one thing that I'm being aware of, the capacity of the people that are coming to me. They have a huge capacity. Before I was able to do 15, 20 people at a time. Now it's 10 tops. 10 tops. That's
Yeah.
it. No, because it's so much information now that it's 10 tops. But I do train people, and I love training my students.
You do have an
and
apprentice program, right? I thought,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I have a mentor apprenticeship program that's been going on since the beginning of the year, and we have done videos. They help me out with marketing, but I throw them in. I'm a tough teacher. You know,
Yeah, you
I'm a
are.
tough teacher.
I've gotten some feedback from your
Yeah, I'm a tough
students.
teacher. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
a tough teacher. I will
in a
throw
good
you
way.
in
Yeah.
in a good way. I will throw you in and middle of something and say, okay, I'm not going to help you. You're going to have to medium your way out of this one. And they do
Yeah.
it. They do it. And the reason why I was taught that way.
Mhm.
And I know the benefit of, because there were, and you know this too, you and I, we came out the same time. There are people that when we started out that are not with us anymore. They're alive, but they're not on this path anymore. And it was
Right.
because of doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
people that I was walking along with, la 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 la, and all of a sudden they're doing the normal thing, you know,
Right,
and I'm
right,
like,
right, right.
what?
And they had the same capacity. It's that doubt.
I'm going to stay
See what?
weird till I die. I'll
Yeah.
never go back to Abby normal. Well, I am Abby normal. I'll never go back to normal.
Right.
Yeah, never. There's
Right.
no fun there. Yeah,
No, well, we don't fit. We never fit anyway. And
yeah.
it's more fun being in this world. And I always tell people when they're like, I left my job, I got fired. I'm like, great, good. It's
What's
not a bad
next?
thing. Yeah.
What's next?
What's next? Get
Yeah,
some sleep. We'll talk tomorrow, but go to bed, rest up, and we'll talk tomorrow. But yeah, that's a good thing. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna pay my bills. Yeah, well, you know what? You're gonna work it out. You're gonna work it out. And I think that's I think when we start telling people it's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
yeah.
Sometimes you get thrown out of your job. Many times it's time to leave, and the spirit has been telling you this for a year, and then all of a sudden someone comes in and says you're fired, and you're like, I got fired. I'm like, yeah, well, the spirit's been trying to tell you to leave
But
nicely.
we manifest stuff too, you know. How many
Yeah,
times has that person said, I am so sick of this job. I don't like it
yeah,
here. I hate these people. Well, the universe said, okay, you know.
okay.
And how
There
many
you go.
times have you said, I want a new car. I don't like this car anymore. This car is old. I want something new. So the car, you have an accident or the car stops working or,
Yep,
you know, and because the
yep,
universe goes, oh, you want something different?
yes,
Let me
yeah.
help
You want
you.
something? Yes, and you're saying it in ritual. You keep saying it, and then the universe catches the signal and sends it back. We
Yeah.
also are very, very powerful beings, and that's why it's always very important to be aware of the inner conversation. That inner voice, you almost have to tap it and say, "Hey," mm-mm. You have to tap your inner voice and say, "No, no, no, mm-mm. That's not going to be playing in my head like that."
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you, because of the programming we have, it's quickly to get into having your inner voice tear you down. It's not it's easy. You can talk to a couple of people before you know it. And because we are telepathic, sometimes it's not our voice. we are still connected to another client, and they're doing this. And now it's doing this to us because we have to disconnect because we are like that. We are connected beings. So yes, I always said, don't judge at all, no judgment at all. What we want to do is stop it. We'll figure out how it got there later on, but what we want to do is stop it while it's happening. That's how you end the program. You, as soon as you notice it, cut it out. Just don't give. Yeah. I wonder where that came from. Just stop it. But yeah. I have to go. I have another appointment to go to. Do you mind me leaving?
Well,
I got to go to another.
I'm so glad that I got to catch you for a small second. The little butterfly, not butterfly. What are you? You're an actual eagle. So the eagle that you are, flapping around everywhere. I'm glad that we got to catch you for a minute.
Oh, you know, Sister, you asked me to do anything, I'm showing up, and I don't show up to a lot of people's events. You know I don't. But you asked me, I'm like, all right, in the rainstorm, no electricity, we're going to do it because I know how important this is for both of us.
I am grateful. I'm grateful for the time and for the sharings, and we'll do it again, I hope.
Oh, yeah. We got a hell of a summer. I need to have you on TikTok again because you came on and you were in my Zoom with my group, but now I think the world kind of they need to hear us talk, you know, through experience. TikTok needs to and I love TikTok. I thought I never would, but actually, it's okay. It's okay.
It's working. You're reaching more people that way. Absolutely. Yeah.
And it feels good. It has a better feeling. And, you know, Facebook's going to always be my home. It's always my home. Those are my home, my meat and potato, been through everything with me. So I will never leave Facebook. I'm always posting things just for people on Facebook.
Well, I will. Oh my goodness, I got to get back to Zoom. Okay, so I'm in 3 different places at one time. What's new about that? So I will send you the recording.
Please do.
The actual recording from Zoom so you can share it wherever you want to share it. Yeah.
Definitely. I would like that. And I'll put my link
post it to YouTube.
Yep. Oh, and
Jordan Water. You got to tell us about Jordan Water. Yeah.
Yes, just Jordan Water is a water. It's an antidepressant, anti-anxiety. It's a piece in the bottle. I'm just going to tell you, it's piece in the bottle. You can get it on my website. Also, I'm on TikTok Shop. So you can get it.
Oh, nice.
On TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, I got on TikTok Shop.
We lost you.
Oh, well, let me show you.
Okay.
This is how you apply.
So that's how you're staying so young and beautiful.
My grandmother made this. She would love you for saying that. But yeah, that's what it does. It does give you I mean, you've had it, Sister, but all I'm telling people now, I guess, go get it. Go get it. Try it out. It has been working for 15 years.
Yeah, I'll add those links for the Jordan Water because you have Jordan Water and you also have an actual website.
Yes, I actually have a website, and then I have the TikTok. If people on TikTok, they can just buy TikTok Shop or where's another place I'm having it, or just inbox me, just DM me. Yeah. Okay, my love.
For people who are listening in whichever channel I posted on, I'll list the website, the shop, the TikTok, and the Facebook.
Yeah.
And Insta. Are you doing Insta? I don't do Insta very much, but
I don't. It doesn't really vibe. I don't know what that is. I never catch on. It just never. It's just one of those things that it hasn't happened. And
okay.
And you're saying it too, so it might be a frequency thing for us. Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead. I'll put all those links so people can find you because I need them to find you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sister.
I'll see you soon. I'm going to end it.
Okay.
Not end it, but I'm going to end this one.